Every place in Vrindavan is special in a special way. Srila Rupa Goswami in Upadeshamrita, he makes a very interesting analysis of the hierarchy of the places. He says, Vaikuntha janito vara madhupuri tatrapi rasotsavat vrindaranyam tatrapi udara pani ramanat tatrapi govardhanaha radhakundam ihapi gokulapate premam mrita plavanat. He says, why the place is holy? The place becomes holy because of the presence of the Lord. Pronounced presence of the Lord. Of course, Lord is Vishnu, He is all-pervading, He is everywhere. But the holy places, they have their specialty, and the specialty of the holy places that here the presence of the Lord can be felt more tangibly than in any other place. Here we can really experience the presence of the Lord, or sometimes we can feel that He is looking at us, that He is right there. In any other places, in Bangalore and Mumbai, not necessarily feel that Krishna is there. Maybe Mukesh Ambani is there, but not necessarily Krishna. So, and that's why we are coming to the holy place. We are coming to the holy place to experience the closeness with the Lord. But again, Srila Rupa Goswami explains in this verse of Upadeshamrita that even the holy places are different in regards to the presence of the Lord. In different places, even though the Lord is tangibly present there, but His presence is felt differently, and He manifests different features of His personality. And he says that actually the place which we are in now is higher than Vaikuntha. He is making this very bold statement which would make him a heretic if he would belong in any other sampradaya. In any other sampradaya, this kind of statement, what can be higher than Vaikuntha? Nothing can be higher than Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha is the spiritual world. And for us, conditioned living entities, everything else which is in the level of Vaikuntha, there is no difference. There is no difference. Madhvacharya is very emphatic about this. He says, when us conditioned living entities start judging about the different positions in the spiritual world, start discriminating between different avatars of the Lord, we will commit offense. Because we will judge, or we will try to measure different manifestations of spirituality with our mundane meter. We will try to measure them with improper understanding of they are. So first we have to understand that there is a spiritual world, and it's categorically higher than anything else which we can experience in this material world. But still, there is a difference there. And if you purified yourself from this offensive mentality, an offensive mentality is exactly this, when you try to measure who is higher, who is lower. This is the offense. I'm looking at you and I say, she's not so beautiful, she's more beautiful. That's an offense. Because we're always judging, we're always trying to put somebody over somebody, and ultimately we're trying to put us over everyone else because we're judging them. By our position of judging them, we are putting ourselves on the top. And that's an offense. But when we are free from this offensive mentality, when by spiritual practice and our endeavors, we stop judging others. We don't judge others, we just surrender. We are, who am I to judge? Who am I to say who is lower, who is higher? I am the lowest. And because I am the lowest, I am not in the position to judge who is higher, who is lower. But the only thing which I know, I am the lowest. When we get to this point of our development in consciousness, when we're really established in this point, when we're really free from this offensiveness or offensive nature, then our acharyas, they say, now you are eligible to understand that even in the spiritual world there's something higher, there's something lower. And yes, Vaikuntha is the spiritual world. Vaikuntha is called Vaikuntha because there is no Kuntha there. Vigata Kuntha iti Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha means there is no impediments, there is no limitations. Vaikuntha is unlimited sphere of the creation. Therefore, in Srimad Bhagavatam, the holy name is called Vaikunthanam. Vaikunthanam means the most powerful name. The name which can overcome any impediments. We are very weak living entities, but we chant this holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Because ultimately we want to overcome all these impediments. So Vaikuntha is very high, no doubt about it. But he says, Vaikuntha Janito Vara Madhupuri. Madhura, the place which is called Madhura, is higher, Vara, is better than Vaikuntha. Why? Janitaha. Because Krishna takes birth there. In Vaikuntha, Krishna doesn't take birth. There is no maternity house in Vaikuntha where Krishna would take birth. Krishna, Krishna is there. He is the Lord. He is unborn. One of his names in Vaikuntha is Aja. He is unborn. And if somebody says, something else, the inhabitants of Vaikuntha cannot relate to it. But because Krishna, driven by the love of his devotees, becomes a small, completely weak and unprotected child in Mathura. Of course, in Mathura he doesn't become really weak and unprotected child. He becomes a child, but quite well armed with all his weapons. But still, nevertheless, he takes birth. And the very fact that he is taking birth in Mathura makes Mathura higher than Vaikuntha. Why? Because in Vaikuntha, Krishna is very well protected by his Aishwarya. Aishwarya is actually a protective means, a protective arm of Krishna. If somebody has a lot of Aishwarya, if somebody is very powerful, then it's very difficult to come close to him. And it basically protects him from the intruders. When people when unwanted people, sometimes people are so eager to come close to somebody who is very attractive. And to protect oneself from this kind of people, Krishna puts a lot of Aishwarya. And seeing his Aishwarya, they stand far away from him, and he's very happy because they're not bothering him. Aishwarya is actually the means for somebody to protect himself from those people who will not be able to appreciate his sweet nature. And people, yes, they're very much attracted to Aishwarya. But Rupa Goswami says, because Krishna becomes vulnerable in Mathura, because he becomes a little child in Mathura. Mathura is higher than Vaikuntha. And then he says, Vaikuntha janito vara madhupuri tatrapi rasot savat, but Vrindaranyam. But Vrindavan is even higher than Mathura. Why? Because there is this rasa dance there. Because there Krishna manifests more higher and more intimate kind of love. And then Tatrapi Udarapani Ramana, Tatrapi Govardhana. Govardhana is even higher because Udarapani Ramanat, here Krishna by his very generous and magnanimous hand was creating his own pastimes, Udaripani Ramanat, and giving the pleasure to his devotees. Govardhan is higher than Vrindavan. That's why I initially invited all of you stay in Govardhan, but you prefer to stay in Vrindavan. But Govardhan is a higher ontologically, from the spiritual ontology point of view, Govardhan is higher because Krishna allows us to come closer to him. Because Krishna is more intimate here, and therefore only very chosen people can be in Govardhan. Like in Vrindavan, when Krishna arranges this Sharad Purnima Rasa dance, Rasotsavat, Vrindaranyam. Vrindavan is famous for this Rasotsava, the Rasa dance on the bank of Yamuna in Vamshivat. But even though it's a beautiful place and people worship this rasa lila, which is described in Srimad Bhagavatam, actually this is not the highest. Again, from the point of view of ordinary devotee, I'm making a great offense by saying this. But I'm just repeating the words of Acharyas because Krishna ultimately felt himself very uncomfortable during this rasa lila. Why? Because there were so many different gopis and some of them were really new. In the past life they were munis in Dandakaranya. You know, and from munis to Dandakaranya they came to Vrindavan and they're supposed to dance with Krishna. So, you know, being the munis didn't work really nice. You know, the nature was different. So, and Krishna felt uncomfortable because there were too many different mentalities. Too much varieties of different mentalities. There was no symphony, you know, to experience something which is very pleasurable, like in association. You know, you can really experience intimacy and pleasure in association if the people who are together, they're on a similar wavelengths. It's when there are too many different people, it's very difficult. I know it myself, you know, sometimes, you know, especially you can feel it during Sunday feast class. During Sunday feast class, so, you know, Rasa Lila in Vrindavan is something like Sunday feast class in ISKCON temple. Because in Sunday feast class, you know, there are some people who just for the first time showed up in the temple. And at the same time, there are people who are working and who are somehow rather associated with devotees for 30 years. So completely different crowd of people. And, you know, you don't know what to speak about. You know, whom you address, you know, this, and ultimately you speak about something which is related to prasadam because prasadam is equally understandable to everyone. Anyway, so the point which I'm trying to make is that there are different gradations, and Govardhan is higher because there is some sort of filters. Only very special, very intimate devotees can come to Govardhan and to associate with Krishna directly here. And Chandra sarovar is one of these places. It is said that after mixed experience during rasa dance, of course it was wonderful, it was the most wonderful, there's no doubt about it. But Krishna really endeavored to bring everyone who was participating in this wonderful lila to the same level. And it was not easy for Krishna. This whole pastime of rasa dance, the whole dynamic of rasa dance, which is explained in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, is exactly this. Krishna is trying to bring every participant of rasa dance on the same level of love, to make this experience really wonderful. Because if people have different mentalities, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to kind of really bring them together on the heart level. Physically, yes, we're in one place. We're sitting in one place, we're discussing something, but at the same time, especially, if you lecture for many years, as I do, you look at the audience and you exactly know where everyone or, each and every person is. Somebody is in Bangalore, somebody is in Mumbai, somebody is in Moscow, somebody is in Chandra sarovar. Not many is Chandra sarovar. The mentality is dragging us in different directions. It's very difficult to be here and now and to concentrate on what we're doing. So if we analyze the dynamic of rasa dance described in Srimad Bhagavatam, that's exactly what Krishna is doing. Krishna started rasa dance and he realized that it doesn't work. It doesn't really work because everyone is somewhat different and, and everyone is trying to be in the center. And therefore Krishna disappeared, and when Krishna disappeared together with Srimati Radharani, and then gradually after, chanting this Gopi Geet, Jayati Tedikam Janmana Vraja, after this experience, then gradually the hearts of all the Gopi, all the cowherd girls who were participating in this lila, they melted and they become one. And then only the rasa lila took place. But here from the very beginning, Krishna is making some arrangements and he doesn't really invite here anyone who doesn't belong to this place. Therefore this place is so special. Actually this Vasanti Ras, or springtime rasa lila, is described in great length in Gita Govinda by Srila Jayadev Goswami. How gopis get together at the Puchari. Today we went through this place at the end of Govardhan, at his tail. And then from there, a group of gopi together with Krishna, with Sankirtan, with the Mridanga and Karatals, and they beautifully came to some other place, they're, traveling, and then all of a sudden, Krishna disappeared. Krishna disappeared because he again wanted to show that the highest love among everyone, even though all the cowherd girls, they were in love with Krishna, but Krishna still wanted to show there is one girl who loves him the most. And to show this, to prove this, Krishna disappeared and he ran away and he hid himself in a cave. Not far away from here, there is a place called Paithagram. It's a very beautiful place, and that's exactly the place where Krishna hid himself. But Krishna doesn't really know that the effulgence which he emanates is so bright and so strong that it's very difficult to hide. You know, if you're trying to hide yourself and at the same time you're glowing like a sun, you know, how you can hide yourself? So Krishna is hiding there in some cave or in some kunj, and he is totally under the illusion that he is well protected and nobody can find him. But gopis, you know, when they run away behind, immediately from far away they saw this bright effulgence and they said, oh, that must be Krishna. And Krishna is sitting there and thinking, I'm so intelligent, I'm hiding away from somebody. And besides that, Krishna also has a very special smell. In Chaitanya Charitamrita is explained what kind of smell is emanated from Krishna. There is a combination of aguru and kasturi and sandal. You know, there is a special kind of formula. So gopis, they see this effulgence and then they smell and they say, oh, this is Krishna, no doubt about it. And when they come closer and Krishna hears their voices, he understands that, oh, there are so many gopis and I wanted to hide away from them. I wanted to be alone with Radharani. And immediately the new plan comes to his mind, or Yogamaya actually creates this plan, and he hides himself behind Aishwarya. And he becomes four-handed. And he becomes Narayana, and he sits there, and in one of his hands there is a conch shell, and in other of his hand is a club. You know, usually Krishna doesn't have club in Vrindavan. But in this particular occasion, he had a club and chakra, you know, and conch, and what else is there? Lotus. Lotus, of course, was also there. And gopis come and they see, you know, they smell and they expect. Now we see now we see Krishna. Now we will meet Krishna. And then for their utter disappointment, they see four-handed Narayana. And Narayana is smiling with his four hands sitting there. Gopis, they look and look and look and they say, oh, Namo Narayana. Our obeisances to you, O Supreme Lord Narayan. Didn't you see Krishna somewhere here? So basically they want to say, we don't care about you, we want to find Krishna. So, and Krishna is very happy with this, and he says, no, I don't know Krishna, but I can give you my blessings. They say, we don't need your blessings, please tell us where is Krishna. And Narayan says, I give you the blessings to find Krishna. And they say, oh, thank you very much. That's exactly the blessings which we want from you. So that's, but then what happened actually when Krishna left the gopis and disappeared, Srimati Radharani immediately fainted. Her feeling of separation was so strong, it was like thunderbolt, as if the thunderbolt would hit her on the head, and she fainted, and her own friends, for a long time they were trying to revive her. And while they were trying to revive her, the other gopis, they went ahead and they found Narayan. And ultimately, after some time, Srimati Radharani and her friends are lagging behind, and they're coming closer, and they see Krishna, and Krishna, he hears that Radharani is coming. And not only he hears, he feels within his heart. He knows she is approaching. The somebody who loves me the most, she's coming closer, and he's anticipating this, and he already thinks, oh, it will be a really wonderful lila. Srimati Radharani comes and I'm here like Narayan. Let's see what she will do. He already projects that I will be sitting like Narayan with 4 hands and she comes and let's see what she will say. And then she comes and she looks at him and all his projection is scattered to pieces because he cannot maintain his Narayana form and he is sitting there as Krishna with his flute. He couldn't really maintain his composure as Narayan. You know, he wanted to be Narayan, he sincerely tried. Didn't work. Why it didn't work? Because the love which was there in the heart of Radharani was so strong. So no Aishwarya can stand in front of this love. So that's, and then after that they came to this place and they started rasa dance. And then Radharani didn't like something. You know, first Krishna disappeared because he wanted to prove that her love is the highest. And then Radharani didn't like what's going on in this Chandra sarovar. There is a mandir here, Radha Chandra Bihari, to commemorate this beautiful pastime. So, and then Radha disappears. And it's a very interesting episode in the whole lila because during Rai Ramananda Samvad, during the conversation between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Rai Ramananda, Rai Ramananda goes higher and higher and higher by explaining what is the prayojana, what we should strive for, what is the goal of all our endeavors. And he gives different suggestions, quoting Shastra, quoting Bhagavad Gita, quoting Vishnu Purana, and then ultimately he comes to Srimad Bhagavatam and he describes the pure devotional service and he goes, you know, higher and higher and higher. Ultimately he comes to Kantabhav. And this is the conclusion which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu really liked. He said, yes, yes, now you're talking the truth to me. Kantabhav, completely self-abnegating, self-forgetful love of gopis is the highest manifestation of love, and this is the highest prayojana. This is what we should strive for. We shouldn't strive to become a lawyer. We shouldn't strive to become prime minister. We shouldn't strive to become the president of United States. This is all completely insignificant positions. The highest aspiration, highest possible aspiration is to become purely attached to Krishna at the level of complete self-abnegation, when we don't remember about ourselves. Actually, the most pleasurable experience which we have even in this life is when we forget about ourselves. When we're completely absorbed in something else and we forget about everything else, then we feel the greatest happiness. And when we remember about ourselves, that's the greatest misery. You know, if we always think about ourselves again and again and again. So, when Ramananda Roy said this, he said, yeah, this is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very happy. He said, yes, this is the highest, you're right. Finally, you're talking the highest, but please tell me what is higher. How anything can be higher than this? And Ramananda Roy, of course, is very... he wants me to give him Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. ठीक है, धन्यवाद. So he starts talking about Radharani, and he quotes the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, which hints on Srimati Radharani. Anayoradito nunam Bhagavan Haririshvaraha. This verse, beautiful verse during Rasa Lila, which says that when the gopis were searching for Krishna, ultimately they found the footsteps, marks of the footsteps of Krishna, and they recognized them because there are special marks on the feet of Krishna, and they say, yes, Krishna. And then they saw that there's some others footprints are there, considerably smaller. I remember long ago I was living in one temple in Sweden, and there were few brahmacharis living there, and I was translating at the same time, and there were some other people from different places. They were translating Prabhupada's books in different languages. And I remember once one brahmachari came and he revealed his mind. He said, you know, I was entering the temple room, and I saw so many different shoes. As usually, you know, you can recognize this temple room because there are so many different shoes, and complete chaos is there, they're standing there. And then he said, I saw this, you know, big male belonging shoes, this big size. And then he said, I saw these small shoes, and I immediately felt attraction within my heart. Because I thought, oh, there is somebody with such a small feet. Anyway, that's brahmachari talk. The point is that when they saw these small footprints of some gopi, they immediately recognized that there is some female companion together with Krishna walking. And they pronounced this verse, Anayara Dito Nunam, a very interesting verse, which basically means that, oh, there must be one very, very pious gopi who was worshipping the Supreme Lord, Bhagavan Harir Ishvaraha. She was worshipping the Supreme Lord in such a beautiful way that now she is so fortunate that she is together with Govinda. Sometimes this verse is being translated that, yeah, this gopi was worshipping Supreme Lord Govinda. But this is not really 100% correct translation. Because how gopis in their, you know, madness of love think that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. No, he is Govinda, he is their friend, he is the cowherd boy. And therefore it is said, Bhagavan Hari Rishrama Anayara Dito Nunam. For sure, this gopi was worshipping Krishna, was worshipping Hari, Ishvara, Bhagavan in a very special way, so that he gave her the blessings, and now she is with Govinda. So that's the implication of this verse. And this verse, of course, shows that Srimati Radharani is higher than anyone else, because Krishna left the rasa dance together with Srimati Radharani, and they're together hiding in the forest, and that gives the special position to Srimati Radharani. No doubt about it. But then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu still expresses a doubt, a very important doubt. He says, why, if Srimati Radharani is so special, if her love for Krishna is so extremely special, then why Krishna stealthily left rasa dance? Why he didn't do it openly? If he wanted to show everyone, let's say, you know, there is a big assembly of people, and I want to show that I have a very special relationship with someone. I will come to this particular person, and I will take this person by hand, and I will take him away to my room, and I will leave everyone else disappointed. In front of their eyes. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, but Krishna didn't do this. Krishna left rasa dance in a very hidden way, so that nobody understood, and nobody even understood that he left rasa dance with Srimati Radharani. So how this shows her superior position, because while doing this, Krishna definitely had in mind the opinion of other gopis, and he didn't want to show that he loves them less, and therefore he did it in this way. So maybe he loves them on the same level as Srimati Radharani. That's the question which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Ramananda Roy, and which we would never even figure out. He says, this Sharad Purnima Rasa Lila does not prove the superior position of Radha. Even though Krishna left together with her, but still it doesn't prove it in a very definite way. And Ramananda Roy smiles, and he says, if you don't like this proof of special love for Srimati Radharani, I will quote Gita Govinda for you. And in Gita Govinda, it is completely clear that Krishna not only left in front of everyone, Krishna became mad when Srimati Radharani left Rasa dance. Krishna became completely mad. He couldn't care less about the opinion of others. Everyone else was trying to seduce him, was trying to entice him, was trying to manifest their love for him. And he looked at them and he couldn't find any drop of the juice in their relationship. Very cruelly, he turned away and started searching for Srimati Radharani alone. And that happened in this particular place. And finally, of course, he found her, and there was a happy end to this story. But what I want to say is that this place is very special because it shows this place, the pastime which took place in this particular lila stali, proves without any doubt that among any other relationship, the relationship between Krishna and Radharani is the highest form of relationship. There is nothing which comes closer to this. And our goal of life is somehow rather to serve this love of Krishna and his devotees. And ultimately to serve the love of Krishna and Srimati Radharani. So that's the unbelievably high pastime which took place here, this Vasanti Ras. And therefore it is said that Chandra, the moon, he started looking at this Rasa Lila which took place here and stopped, and the whole light of moon was absorbed into the waters of this lake. And still, it's very amazing, if you take bath in this lake in the middle of the summer, when it's very hot and all other lakes are very hot. This lake is relatively less hot because the cooling rays of the moon are being diluted in the waters of this lake. So this is the place which we are in, and of course around this lake the great singers and poets of Vallabha Sampradaya are sitting, starting from Surdas. And here in Chandra sarovar, this very special place, Surdas was living, and his kutir is there and his samadhi is also there. The blind poet of Raj. And there is a very special pilu tree. On the other side of Chandra sarovar, there is a very old ancient pilu tree. This is the pilu tree under which Surdas was composing his padas. And because this pilu tree heard this poetry of Surdas, it became immortal. So despite so many hundreds of years passed, 500 years passed, this pilu tree is still there, very, very old. And one of the padas of Surdas, which is very appropriate for this place and for this topic, because he was blind and he had to walk every day from this place, which is called Parasoli. It's called Parasoli because Parashara Muni was performing tapasya here. Long ago, 5,000 years ago, one branch of Yamuna was flowing here. The branch of Yamuna, which is there, the normal, Yamuna bed, which is in Vrindavan, and another branch was coming here, and they were coming together in Agra. So this place which we're in was a big island. And still, people, they find very easily the sand, riverbank sand near Govardhan. So Yamuna was flowing 5,000 years back near Govardhan. So that was the place where Yamuna was flowing, and Parashara Muni had his ashram here, and he was performing tapasya here. But Surdas, whose kutir was here and is still here, every day he would walk half an hour, 40 minutes. Actually, it's more. It's probably now about 1 hour walk from here to Govindakund. And in Govindakund there is this Srinathji temple. And Surdas, he had his term. According to the regulation which was established by Vallabhacharya, each of the singers, great singers, had their time when they would sing for Srinathji. The beautiful deity of Gopal, and this pastime we talked a little bit in this morning, Gopal, who was found by Madhavendra Puri, he was listening different poets, and Surdas had his own slot of time. So he was going back and forth, and he was very old. When he died, he was 105 years old. And he was, he was walking very slowly, and he was blind, and he didn't have any assistants, servants. He was walking all alone. And once he fell into a blind well, because he couldn't see, so he was there, and of course the well was dry, so he was there, and he started calling, Krishna, 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 Gopal, Gopal, Govinda. And of course Krishna immediately heard his call, and Krishna ran away to this well, and he gave his hand to Surdas. He said, Babaji, Babaji, take my hand, I will pull you out from there. And Surdas pulled him, and when he, not pulled him, he touched his hand, and when he touched the hand of Surdas, when Surdas's hand touched the hand of Krishna, all of a sudden he felt that, goosebumps. His hairs on his body stood on end, and he felt something special. And Krishna very quickly pulled him out and started running away. And Surdas, he is old, he cannot really run behind Krishna, and of course Krishna is running faster than anyone. And Surdas, he's standing there, and he knows that Krishna is running away from him, and Surdas, is standing there, and he is composing the song in Brajboli, and he says, oh yeah, you're running away from me, Govinda, oh naughty boy. But, this you can do, but please try to run away from my heart. You will never succeed in this. So, this song is still there in commemoration of this beautiful pastime, how Surdas fell into blind well. So, we are in a very special place, because we are very special. And we are very special because Srila Prabhupada gave us their mercy. Only because he made us very special by his mercy. And we should never become proud. We should become more humble. We are totally undeserving. We don't belong to this place. No doubt about it. This is not the place for us. Nevertheless, by some amazing amazing good fortune, we're still here, and we're listening about these pastimes, and we're trying to understand what the real love means, and that's our good fortune which we received by the mercy of great people. So that's probably all I have to say for today. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Shyam. Okay. So tomorrow we'll meet in Varshana, and we'll continue our discussions. I hope that and now we will give some initiation, right? That's the program. Some devotees are fasting from the morning. So let's come. Please, it's coming.